Chapter 7 The Ghost Comes Back. 6 months after the wedding, just when Nina thought things were finally settling into happiness, the past came crashing back. It was a rainy Tuesday evening. Nina and Ethan were having dinner together, laughing about a funny entry from her diary from years ago, when the front door opened without warning. A woman walked in, wet, bedraggled, suitcase in hand, looking exactly like Nina. Lina. She stood in the hallway, shaking off her umbrella, looking around the grand house with a mix of arrogance and curiosity. "Well," she said loudly, her voice echoing through the room. "This place is even bigger than I remembered. Good job, little sister. You really stepped into my shoes perfectly." Nina froze in her seat. Her blood ran cold. This was the moment she had feared since day one. The moment everything would fall apart. Ethan stood up slowly, his expression turning cold and dangerous instantly. He stepped around the table and stood between Nina and Lina, shielding his wife. "What are you doing here?" Ethan asked, his voice low and terrifying. Lina smiled, completely unbothered. She walked closer, stopping just out of reach. "Come on, Ethan. Don't be like that. I'm back. I realized I made a mistake running away. This life, the money, the name, the status, it's mine. I was the one you were supposed to marry." Nina was just the backup. The temporary replacement. She looked past Ethan at Nina, smirking. "You had your fun, sis. You got to live like a queen for a few months. Now step aside. I'm taking my life back." Nina stood up, her legs shaking, but she didn't back down. For the first time, she wasn't afraid. She was angry. Angry that Lina threw away everything. Angry that Lina treated this marriage like a toy. Angry that Lina thought Nina's love was just playing pretend. "This was never your life, Lina," Nina said, her voice surprisingly steady and strong. "You ran away because you didn't want it. You didn't want the responsibility. You didn't want Ethan. You didn't want any of this. I didn't take it from you. I picked up the pieces you broke." Lina laughed harshly. "You think he wants you? Look at you. Quiet, boring, little bookworm. He married you because he had to. Because you were the only option. Now that I'm here, he'll realize what he missed." She turned her charm on Ethan instantly, smiling brightly, reaching out to touch his arm. "Come on, Ethan. We were meant to be. We look perfect together. Everyone expected us to be the couple. Not her. She's just plain. She's just a copy." Ethan caught Lina's wrist before she could touch him. His grip was firm, his expression filled with disgust. "Do not touch me," he said quietly. "And do not ever speak about my wife like that again." He dropped her hand as if she were dirty. "You think you are the original. You think you are the real one. You are nothing like the woman I love. You are loud where she is thoughtful. You are selfish where she is kind. You are empty where she is full of light and soul." He stepped closer to Lina, towering over her. "You were right about one thing, Lina. You were the one I was supposed to marry. But you ran. And thank God you did. Because if you had stood at that altar, I would be the most miserable man on earth right now. I didn't marry a substitute. I married the only woman who has ever mattered to me. And she is standing right behind me." He turned to Nina, took her hand, and lifted it high, showing the ring on her finger. "She is my wife. She is the love of my life. She is the writer of my soul. And you are nothing but a stranger with the same face. You have no place here." Chapter 8 WHO is the real bride. Lina didn't leave. Instead, she made trouble. She moved into a guest room, claiming legal rights, calling lawyers, talking to the press, trying to cause chaos. She wanted her life back, and she didn't care who she hurt to get it. She told everyone she had been kidnapped, or forced away, or that Nina had tricked her. She spread lies. She tried to make Nina look like a thief who stole her identity and her husband. But Ethan was ruthless in his protection. He blocked Lina from everything. He gave interviews clearly stating that Nina was his wife, that he loved her, that he had chosen her, and that Lina was simply a troublemaker. But the doubt was planted. People whispered. People questioned. How do we know which one is real? Maybe Nina really did trick everyone. It's so confusing, they look exactly the same. One afternoon, a public event was scheduled, a major charity gala Ethan was hosting. Both sisters announced they would attend. Everyone knew this would be the showdown. Before the event, Ethan sat Nina down in their room, holding her hands firmly. "You don't have to go," he said gently. "I can handle this alone. I can keep her away." Nina shook her head. She had thought long and hard. She had written about this moment many times in her diary. Identity isn't what you look like. It's what you do, what you say, what you believe. "No," Nina said softly but firmly. "I'm going. And I'm going to show everyone exactly who I am. I'm tired of hiding. I'm tired of being compared to her. I'm tired of being seen only as a twin." She stood up and went to her closet. She didn't wear the flashy, revealing, expensive dresses Lina always chose. She picked a dress that was elegant, modest, beautiful, soft blue, flowing, timeless. She styled her hair simply. She wore her favorite small pearl necklace. When she walked out, Ethan looked at her with pure pride. "You were breathtaking," he whispered. "And you were you." At the gala, the tension was thick. Lina arrived first, dressed in bright red, sparkling diamonds, loud and attention-grabbing. She walked around greeting people, acting like the hostess, pretending she was Mrs. Sterling. Then Nina entered on Ethan's arm. The room went quiet. Two identical faces. Two completely different presences. Lina walked straight over, smirking. "Let's settle this, shall we? Everyone is confused. Which one of us is the real wife? Which one does Ethan love?" She turned to Ethan. "Tell them, Ethan. Tell them who you really wanted from the start." Ethan looked at the crowd, then at Lina, then at Nina. He didn't speak about looks or contracts or families. Instead, he turned to the microphone on the stage nearby. "I think I can explain best with words," he said, his voice carrying across the silent room. "For 3 years, before I ever met either of these women, I read a diary online. Anonymous. Quiet. Beautiful." He looked directly at Nina. "Love isn't about finding someone exactly like you," Ethan recited perfectly, word for word. "It's about finding someone who understands the parts of you that no one else can see. Someone who makes you feel safe enough to be quiet. Someone who makes you feel brave enough to speak." He turned back to the audience. "That writer is Nina, my wife." Lina could never have written those words. Lina could never have thought those thoughts. Lina could never love me the way Nina does, silently, deeply, completely. He walked back to Nina and took her hand. "I didn't marry a face. I married a soul. And I would choose this soul over any other, 1,000 times over." The applause was thunderous. Lina stood there, shocked, humiliated, realizing that looking the same was not enough. She had lost not just the husband, but the battle for identity. She realized then that Nina wasn't the copy. Nina was the original.